When we think about the 40-week journey of pregnancy, it's just incredible. But honestly, the most dramatic, the most mind-boggling changes, they happen way, way before anyone can even see a bump. We're talking about the first trimester. This is where, in just 13 short weeks, life goes from a single cell to a tiny, fully formed human. It's a miracle, and we're going to break it down week by week.
But let's start with something that might sound a little crazy. For the first 2 weeks of what is officially called your 40-week pregnancy, you're not actually pregnant yet. I know, right? So, what is going on? What's this hidden miracle that's already happening?
Well, it all comes down to what we call the invisible preparation. See, the way pregnancies are counted starts from the very first day of your last menstrual period. So conception hasn't even happened, but your body, it's already hard at work, doing all this foundational stuff for the miracle that's just around the corner.
And it's truly amazing how proactive your body is here. Your ovaries are getting an egg ready to go, your uterine lining starts to thicken up, and all these hormones are rising to create the absolute perfect, most welcoming home possible. It's exactly like a gardener who spends time carefully preparing the soil long before a single seed is ever planted.
And that's precisely why taking something like folic acid is so important even before you're officially pregnant. You're essentially enriching that soil, making sure that when that little seed does get planted, it has every single thing it needs right from moment one.
So, once all that prep work is done, the real magic can finally begin. Sometime around week 3, you get that spark of life. This is it. This is conception, the moment a new and unique life officially starts. An egg and sperm meet, and they form this microscopic single cell called a zygote. Now get this. This one tiny cell, which is smaller than a grain of salt, holds the complete genetic blueprint for a human being. Everything, from what color their eyes will be, to the type of hair they'll have, is already decided right there in that one incredible cell.
By week 4, that single cell has been busy. It's divided and divided, traveled down into the uterus, and now it's called a blastocyst. And then it does something amazing. It attaches itself and snuggles right into that nutrient-rich lining your body has been preparing. And just like that, your baby is officially on board, no bigger than a tiny poppy seed. Now this is when your body starts to send out the memos. As the pregnancy hormone, HCG, begins to rise, you might start noticing some of these really early signs. That little bit of spotting or cramping? Yeah, that could actually be implantation. And the fatigue? Oh, that fatigue. That's your body diverting all its power to the most important construction project it's ever going to undertake.
That moment of implantation kicks off a period of development so fast, it's almost hard to wrap your head around it. We're now in the blueprint phase, where the fundamental structures of a human life are being built at literal lightning speed. I mean, just look at this timeline of firsts. In week 5, the heart starts to form and might even start beating. 1 week later, by week 6, the super important neural tube, which becomes the brain and spinal cord, closes up. And by week 8, your baby's already making its first little spontaneous movements. You can't feel a thing yet, but they're happening. And let's just take a second to appreciate that heartbeat. By week 6, it can often be seen on an ultrasound, just flickering away at around 100 beats per minute. That is an incredibly strong, steady rhythm for a little being that's only about the size of a sweet pea. Just amazing.
So you might be wondering, how does all this translate to what you're feeling? Well, that intense nausea or that bone-deep fatigue, it's directly connected to the monumental work going on inside. While your baby's heart is starting to beat and its brain is growing like crazy, your body is pouring every last resource into that development.
So seriously, if you feel completely and utterly exhausted, please listen to that feeling. It's not just in your head, it's your body sending you a very clear, very loud signal. It's working overtime, building a person from scratch, and it needs you to rest.
Okay, so check this out. By the end of week 8, your baby is about the size of a raspberry and is already making little movements. But then, in week 9, it graduates. It gets a brand new scientific name. What is that name, and why is that change so incredibly important?
This brings us to the final triumphant stretch of this whole phase, the first trimester finish line. This is where all that intense, foundational work really starts to pay off in a big way.
And here's the answer. Starting in week 9, your baby is officially called a fetus. Now, this isn't just a random name change. It's a huge milestone. It signifies that the blueprint phase is basically complete.
Almost all the major organs, the heart, the brain, the kidneys, the lungs, they're all in place. From here on out, the main job is just to grow and mature.
And the growth through here is just wow. Let's trace the story using something we can all picture. It goes from a poppy seed at week 4 to a blueberry, then a raspberry. And by the time you hit the end of the first trimester, your baby is about the size of a lime. That rate of growth is just explosive.
And that brings us to this magic number, week 13. It's the end of one of the most critical, most transformative periods in all of human life. You've made it across the finish line.
And reaching this point is such a huge deal. For one, the risk of miscarriage drops way down. All those major organs are fully formed. You've got distinct fingers and toes. And maybe best of all, for so many people, that intense morning sickness and crushing fatigue finally start to fade away. It's a moment to just take a deep breath and celebrate.
And through this whole wild ride, it is so important to remember this. Every single pregnancy is its own unique story. So be gentle with yourself. Really learn to listen to what your body is telling you, and please never compare your experience to anyone else's.
So let's just end on this thought. In just 13 weeks, one single invisible cell became a tiny, perfect human the size of a lime, with a beating heart and its own unique fingerprints. If all of that can happen before the world even has a clue, just stop and imagine the miracles that are still to come.